Well, Donald Trump delivering a major speech on immigration tomorrow as critics accuse him of softening his stance on deporting those living in the United States illegally. Here's some of what he said on the subject recently.
The existing laws are very strong. The existing laws, the first thing we're going to do, if and when I win, is we're going to get rid of all of the bad ones. We got gang members, we have killers, we have a lot of bad people that have to get out of this country. As far as everybody else, we're going to go through the process. What people don't know is that Obama got tremendous numbers of people out of the country. We want to do it in a very humane manner. There certainly can be a softening because we're not looking to hurt people. We want people. We have some great people in this country. We have some great people in this country.
Just a slice of what's been said over the last several days. Leslie Marshall's with us, radio host and Fox News contributor, and Lars Larson, a syndicated radio host at Alpha Media Networks. Nice to have you both. Leslie, that's the accusation for Donald Trump this week, is that he's trying to have it both ways. The question is, can he? I mean, can he be empathetic and also have a strong policy on immigration? Why does he have to choose?
Well, he does have to choose because, one, he has to decide what course and what path he is on. If you remember, I mean, this is a guy that wanted to deport and rip apart families, almost 12 million people, and do it in the first year, build a wall, have Mexico pay for it. The list goes on of unrealistic and not able to pay for by the United States or even Mexico, quite frankly, ideas. What has happened here, Jenna, is that he has looked at the facts, and the facts are he's dropping in the polls. Hillary Clinton, with the exception of 2 key battleground states, is trumping him in the numbers, and he knows he needs the Hispanic vote, the female vote, and the African-American vote to win the presidency, and his stance on immigration especially has not gone over well with that group, those 3 groups of people, and this doesn't change that.
Okay, so Lars, Leslie's saying that he's pandering to certain voters, and there are those that say that Donald Trump, in order to win, have to get this speech right. But how do you define what's right? What would be a win for Donald Trump when it comes to his immigration policy?
You know, I'm going to tell you, Jenna, he has to do exactly what he's been doing from the beginning. And Leslie is wrong about this. Donald Trump never said, I'm going to rip families apart. He said he was going to enforce the existing laws of the United States, which are actually very strong. They say you can't be here illegally. You can't work if you're here illegally. And he plans to build a wall. And none of that has changed. The fact that you can be empathetic and enforce the law is not, that's not a contradictory notion, even though Leslie seems to think that it is. And as for dropping in the polls, I notice, Leslie, that Hillary Clinton was up by 12 points last week and is arguably up by maybe 6 points this week, getting closer to the margin of error. So if you think that constitutes dropping in the polls, well, I think the one who's dropping is the crook from Chappaqua.
There's a lot of different polls out there right now, and until we actually see, as we get closer to Election Day, we're just going to take them all with a grain of salt. Leslie, it is interesting the White House is fielding some questions about immigration during the White House press briefing because of this speech. So let's take a listen to this.
Is that really far afield from what Donald Trump is basically saying? If they're a criminal, they're going to be out of here?
I guess it depends on the day you ask. The unfortunate fact is there'd be even more resources on our border, securing our border, if Republicans in the House of Representatives hadn't blocked comprehensive immigration reform and merely perpetuated a system that even Senator Rubio describes as the closest thing we have to amnesty. So but look, that's on the conscience and on the hands of Republicans who have failed to deal with this situation.
Interesting response from Josh Earnest. What do you make of that, Leslie?
Well, I think there is a fact that we haven't seen more money go into our border, which definitely we need, I think, Border Patrol agents. You can enforce your borders and make your borders safer without building a wall. And quite frankly, that's one reason why the wall would never get built, because we see that Democrats and Republicans don't work together, whether it's with immigration or border security, in order to get things accomplished.
Lars,
that's been a problem, and certainly that's reflective in the voters.
Lars, it might give us some insight as well to what Hillary Clinton will say to Donald Trump during a debate, for example. Listen, we'd be stronger on immigration if it wasn't for the Republicans. How does Donald Trump handle that?
I'll tell you how he handles it. The reason the Republicans have not said to President Obama, yes, we'll grant you amnesty for millions in exchange for more funding for the Border Patrol, that's a ridiculous position. The fact is the wall is going to get built under President Trump. The Israelis built a wall between terrorists in their country, and they cut terrorism by 95%. That was a wall 500 miles long. If Israel can do that, America can build a wall, and a wall will make this country safer. And it's also fair. How is it fair, Leslie, for all the people who went through all the process and waited years in line to come into this country legitimately, to tell people you could have just hopped in the Rio Grande and swam into the country.
The question of what's fair is one that we've been debating for a long time, and unfortunately we're going to be cut off from commercial. So Leslie, you get to answer that next time. You're not going to be able to answer in 10 seconds, so I'm not going to do that for you. Leslie, Lars,
Thanks,
great to have
Jenna.
you both. Thank you.